Are we ready?
We're ready.
All right. Dad jeans.
There's just like when you're like, hey, could you send me that brief again? And the answer is, I put it in the channel, as if like why didn't you check the channel? It's there.
Hatred.
I'm just like, yeah. Like the assumption that you've done something wrong.
Yep.
And therefore, like, I can't be bothered to help you. Like, just help me. Just do the thing that I ask you to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
There's another platform, kind of like Slack, called Basecamp, which I absolutely detest because it does not solve. Oh, it's horrible. It's a wilderness. It's just like it might as well be email. It doesn't solve the email problem the way Slack does. It just makes a new version, a new wilderness you have to go to, and like dig around for stuff. And eventually, I'm always like, can anyone help me find this thing, which could be in any one of these message boards or campfires or sailboats or whatever the fuck they name their stupid platform.
Or on the server, which is where everything is supposed to go, but no one pays attention to it, so it's never updated, and it's always just like hanging out somewhere. Version what of what? Version X of X.
There's a production company, I think they do radio production in the Bay Area, called Final version 2. Isn't that great? I wish they didn't exist so we could have our own version of that. It's so great.
So true.
Oh my God. It's nice to see you, Jeff. We took a week off, didn't we?
We did take a week off, Brendan. Do you want to inform our listeners of that, or is that a private matter?
Yeah. Well, now I have a pre-existing condition. I was thinking about that. As a person, I now have a pre-existing condition.
You're I shouldn't even actually be speaking to you because I think I get a pre-existing condition legally.
You do, right? That's true.
Yeah,
us having this
just by
podcast,
knowing you, being associated with you,
and it comes through microphones and earphones. Everybody, so as you listen to my voice, you're catching it. It's very sad.
So I can now be anyone listening to this can now be denied health care.
Yep.
According to the Republicans' health care plan. So
exactly. Wait, which podcast do you listen to?
With the health care plan, where they revealed their health care plan.
I have a, and it's a disease too. It's a blank disease. I have something called Meniere's disease, which is an annoying combination of tinnitus and vertigo.
Is it related to Legionnaire's disease, or is Meniere just the fella who got it first?
I think Colonel Meniere left the Legionnaires and joined the Mountaineers, where he went on to start peer-to-peer relationships.
That's like a Ringo Starr sung Beatles song.
It really is.
Colonel Meniere left the Legionnaires. Enjoyed.
Ringo would go away to a cabin for the weekend, and he would come back with that couplet and be like, "You guys, I have my contribution for this one. Magical. This is going to be my song on the album, okay, everybody?" And everyone's like, "Oh, he did."
Yeah. And we were all riding on a chipmunk who was coated green and pink.
And they're like, well, he did
throw Ringo's bone.
It's his van, and we ride around in his van, so I guess we let him put one song on the album.
Colonel Meniere. Oh, my God.
Colonel Meniere with a curled up ear.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yes, tell us about your horrible disease. I'm sorry, we shouldn't be mocking you.
Oh no, mock away.
You've had a rough go of it.
No, it's not life-threatening. There's a lot of good news. One, I might go deaf eventually. Two.
Oh wow.
Fantastic. Oh, it's horrible. Yes. Two. No, actually, there's actually absolutely no good news. My uncle-in-law was at the doctor and had vertigo also, and the doctor's like, well, what you don't want is Meniere's disease.
Oh God, really?
Yeah.
Oh Jesus, Brendan, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
but it's not lethal. It's just something that could impact your ability to hear at some point in your life, or is it like, are you going to be in pain and suffering?
It's not painful, but there is suffering involved. I don't. My hearing is already going away. I already have the advanced hearing loss of like a 60-year-old man, And
oh god,
because it does this thing where it sort of fills your inner ears with goo that makes you dizzy and throw up, and then all that goo gets on all the machine parts in there and takes your hearing away. And it replaces your hearing. So it's not just deaf to silence, it's deaf to a deafeningly loud sound of cicadas and like a low siren for the rest. That's the part that's the torture. So that is where it's sort of like, if it were going deaf to just everything getting quieter, that sounds awesome. But instead it's going deaf to go into like this sort of phantasmic horror zone.
A wind tunnel.
Yeah, exactly. Too.
You're testing the Mars rover at full volume for the rest of your life.
Yeah, precisely. So that actually, I might have to get some sort of job in heavy industry. And so so I'm on some medication now.
You'd be perfect.
I would, right? And I wouldn't give a shit because it helps the sound drown out the inner sound. So yeah,
stands for inner sound, y'all, and y'all can bet the action's not a
threat.
Trip, but something to function. Daisy age. You're living in the daisy age, like De La Soul.
Oh yeah.
Do. This is a daisy age. Stands for the inner sound, y'all.
Certainly feels like a daisy age. That's what it
Brendan,
feels like.
Could I ask you for? I just fucking look. I have no compassion. I'm just like, yeah, okay, good.
Oh no,
Let's move on to.
We can definitely move on. Anyway, so last week I was in bed and feeling horrible because she has some. Yeah. There's medicine that might or might not work, but the medicine makes you feel atrocious for 2 weeks, and that's where I'm at right now. So
God.
I'm on the medicine. This is day 9. It's awful. But I'm much better than I was a week ago. She had me on steroids. She did like steroids and this diuretic thing where like I'm peeing at, like my pee smells bizarre. My poops are epic. Everything's insane. I can't sit there and concentrate. I have to like lay down. I've been watching Das Boot because it's about submarines with headphones on.
Oh, it's a great movie.
It's a great movie. I had no idea. It's a great movie.
It's like action. It's like the first action spectacular. It's like It's like you're like, oh, this isn't some pansy German film. This is badass.
Yeah, and I'm saving this for our leisure class, so I'll save the rest of my Das Boot situation for that.
Okay. Look, I think, first of all, I want to say that we're Dad Jeans. I'm Jeffrey Dinsmore.
I'm Brendan Hughes, and we are Dad Jeans.
You might have come to us from our friends at Dad Geens.
Oh, yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for the plug.
For all the support. Thanks for the plug. You might have been like, well, I don't know about these Dad Geens guys.
Right.
Maybe I'll go check out Dad Jeans.
What do you have? What do you have in the denim department?
Yeah, exactly. So that's where we are. We're your weekly denim department for the year.
Father denim.
Father and brother, and
that'll be the next spin-off podcast is Father Denim.
Father Denim. I love that. Or that could be our saint, our patron saint.
Father Denim, yeah.
Father Denim.
Or Father Denim, yeah.
So, hi, Father Denim here.
Hey,
how are you?
Hey, what do you have here? Some sort of microphone.
Hello, nice to see you.
I taught him.
We got to start doing characters. Brian L. Perkins was lamenting the loss of George Railroad Martin.
Oh, God. Yeah, God rest him. And the Dad Jeans Murph, whatever that thing was from season 1.
Dad Jeans Murph, right. Don't you remember our mascot? I can't mention George R.R. without doing a little George R.R.
Oh, you certainly can't.
For Brian L. Perkins. But I don't remember the voice. Was it?
Hey,
brother. Hey, how are you, brother? He's kind of Hulk Hogan.
Right. He's probably been in hiding since the airing of season 7 or 8 or whatever. That horrible abortion. That was.
Hey, I know I ruined all your lives there, brother, with my story about elves and brownies, but maybe next year we're gonna come back. It's gonna be all about leprechauns. You're gonna love it.
I didn't forget to mention those leprechauns. That was gonna be season 9, but HBO didn't want to do it.
I never watched that show. I've seen 2 episodes.
It was so good, and then it was so bad.
People love it. That's why I just restarted Battlestar, which had a sort of similar trajectory. The first 3 seasons of Battlestar are like it's just so smart, it's so great, and then like the last season, it's just like you know what it is, Brendan? It's the I don't know what this is. This is like the McConaughey principle or something like that. that all it's like Inception. Like, remember when you said I can't wait to see Inception, and I'm like, or you say I saw Inception and you won't believe it, and I was like, what's the message? All you need is love, and you're like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Or no, it wasn't Inception. It was Interstellar.
Interstellar. Yeah.
Yeah, the all sci-fi eventually. I don't think this was a problem with Game of Thrones from what I've heard, but all sci-fi eventually like leads to all you need is love.
Yeah, exactly. Like, schmaltz.
If it hangs in, that's the McConaughey principle. I don't know. Should we name it after him or?
I think we should. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. That ultimately, oh wow, love is all you need.
Love is the entire universe is love.
If we only had love.
Okay, so a little quick. I'm sorry. I'm going to be rushing us through things probably today because we have a guest, a very exciting guest. But the first thing we just have to do a time check. The president is Principal Trump is in the hospital.
Yep. Oh yes.
With the coronavirus.
What an incredible thing! Friday morning to wake up to that news.
And he's not well. He's not well, Brendan. They put out this bullshit video of him like sitting there being like, I'm getting better. I'm going to make America great again. Then he signs a blank fucking piece of paper.
Right. It's so amazing. Yeah. It's so North Korean. It's we are exactly. Right now at our most North Korean.
Yeah, Uber. We're the North Korea. We're more North Korea than North Korea.
Exactly.
And this is what I'm thinking about this guy, like this administration. We keep having like these discussions about like, you got to vote because you don't want to know what it's like under a dictatorship. Like, this is what a dictatorship is. All this stuff that you're seeing is what it is.
Yeah, we have the weird opportunity to undo it. And that's what we're being given now. Maybe.
Hopefully.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Russians will put their thumb on the scale in all the small races, and we're still screwed, I'm sure. But
yes. Inshallah, as Joe Biden would say. Inshallah.
Inshallah. What's that?
It is Arabic saying that means like, I think it means to God, but he said it in the debate the other day, and it can also mean like, he said, when are we going to get this healthcare plan? Inshallah. It can also mean like never, like in eternity, basically.
Oh, wow. I didn't know he said that. How do you like that?
He did. It was a really great moment in the debate because it was real. It was not like no politician would ever practice saying inshallah during a debate. Like, it gave me a glimpse behind the Joe Biden curtain.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy hates malarkey. That's for sure.
No malarkey for Joe Biden. No malarkey for this guy.
No malarkey. It is amazing. Yeah, I was so 4:45 a.m. Friday morning. I'm in bed, asleep. Emily's awake on her phone next to me. Slaps me on the shoulder, and she's like, "Trump has COVID." It was
my God,
amazing to wake up to that, and then to find out about this super spreader event on the White House lawn, where all those Republicans are just like licking each other's faces, and they're like, "Ha! Look at us! Yeah. There's no virus. The China virus is a hoax." And now they're all sick as dogs in bed because they have put us through.
We can't die.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the everything. Everyone's like, "Hey, whoa! The president is sick. Now we treat him nicely," even though he has been the worst, most abusive fuck. He's been the nation's abusive alcoholic stepfather for 4 years. Amen. And then the abusive alcoholic stepfather gets really sick, and you're not supposed to be like, "Yay, I'm having a great day at school."
No, total bullshit. We do not pull our punches with this guy. Sorry. But then I hear on NPR this morning, the classic NPR, they're talking about this press conference that happened yesterday, and they're like Mara Liasson or whoever is like, any indication why that press conference felt so unclarifying? And I'm just like,
of course.
Like,
yeah. What do you think? Why do you?
Every day he's a newborn babe. Every day he's a newborn babe with no history.
The false neutrality of the news. It makes sense in a democracy, but we're not in a democracy right now. So you can't.
No.
We are in a quasi authoritarian dictatorship, and the press needs to grow some balls and be like, actually, we're still playing by the 4 years ago rules, and that is doing a disservice to the United States of America that is about to close for business.
I just want one person to be like, what do you fucking mean? Is there any indication? Have you been alive for the last 4 years? Like, how do they just go every day with this smooth, like, continuing narrative where no one ever loses their shit? Like, come on. Like, it's privilege. It just tells me that these NPR fucking correspondents, these people on the news, they have nothing. They don't have the lives that we have, where we're having to entertain our children while they're supposed to be in school. Like,
yeah.
But sure. Let's get into it. Can we get into
Absolutely.
it? Absolutely. Okay, there's a new segment. It's called You Don't Get It.
You don't get it. You just don't get it. You don't get it at all. You don't get it. You just don't get it. Shut up, leave me alone. You're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. Lick it chow chow.
That was a wonderful theme song.
You don't. Thank you, Brendan. It doesn't exist at the moment that we're talking, but it will be wonderful. I won't let you down.
I like the idea of You Don't Get It. I think this is a great segment choice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So this is a segment in which it's something about ourselves that we as dads have discovered that, especially perhaps due to this isolated COVID world, or maybe we've known this for a while, but it's just something that our spouses and our children just don't get about us. Mm-hmm. And I will, since I offered this one up, I'm going to, I will start out if you don't mind.
Oh, please do.
I really like games. I'm a gamer.
I like that about you.
Thank you, Brendan. Yeah. I like that about me too. I love playing games. I love board games. I love all sorts of board games. No, I like the video games. But mostly for this segment, I'm thinking about the board games because I am my two weaknesses are records and games. Mm-hmm. So I'm always buying one or the other and getting a new one or the other. And so I have just gone on. There's a local game store, and the one of the nice things about COVID is that it gives us the mental excuse to A, spend money if we have it, and B, support local stores that are not having that are having a hard time of it. So there's a local game store, and I pop in there every couple of weeks because it's reopened recently. And I just go and I buy a game, and I'm just like, I'm going to play this game with my family. And then I get home, and everyone in the family's like, it's too complicated. Because I love these, like, the German board games with, like, 1,000 rules and, like, mini tiny pieces. And, like, I'm just so excited. Excuse me, coughing a little bit here. I'm so excited. I get this thing home and I'm like, look at these. There's 1,000 pieces in here. What could all these pieces do? What adventures could we have with all these pieces? Like, how many strategies could we create? And no one in the family is into it. And it's so disappointing. I'm like, you don't get me. I need this. I need this play. I need these games as part of my life.
Yes. Amen. Exactly. I'm totally with you. I love me some Settlers of Catan. We have all the expansions. We have the Seafarers of Catan. We have Cities and Knights. And in fact, Brian Perkins himself once showed up to this like New Year's getaway thing, and he had Cities and Knights of Catan, and he's like, "You guys, City and Knights. Now we can find out what happens on Catan when the sun goes down."
Oh, BLP.
That's pretty great. So I've used that joke ever since and not credited him. But BLP on the air, God, you're a comic genius. So those games are awesome, and I try and introduce them to my family now and then. And sometimes they take root. Oscar's a giant Catan guy, but then other times he's like, nah, nope. I don't feel like it. You do what I tell you with these Legos instead. In fact, I'm gonna announce what I need, and you go find it in the bins. That's the game we're gonna play. And I'm like, I don't want to play that game. I want to play a strategy game because I'll fucking destroy you.
Yes,
yeah. But it's not. That's how dad achieves glory.
Yes, and I'm the cool dad who will play games with you, so just sit down and shut up and do what I tell you.
Right. We're having a good time. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah. So I wish I could. I wish I could convince my family. I wish I could. I wish they knew how important it was to me. Is all. But then, like, you can't force someone to play a game either. So, like, you sit down with them and you're like, "We're playing this game," and then, like, 2 minutes in, they're like, "I don't get it. That's not. This isn't fun." And you're just like, "It's not fun for me either."
Yeah.
Forget it. We're not playing games.
Right, because board games require you to sit with the confusion and sit with the kind of frustration of learning a new thing, and then suddenly there's a certain moment where a penny drops, and then you're like, wait, this is actually really fun. Like, the rules were tough to grok for a long time, and we're all just kind of like, wait, what do we do next? And just doing this procedural thing that is sort of that is very bureaucratic feeling, and then it snaps into fun, but you have to take that leap of faith to get to the fun snap.
That's right. And, like, you do it enough and you're like, okay, we'll get there. We'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people feel very encumbered by not knowing what's next.
Right.
And that's, like, I think that's a part of, like, that is definitely a personality trait. Like, I think Sarah has a hard time being she wants to know what to do from the very beginning because that gives her a feeling of control. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of like just learning as I go along, right? Like, I'm just like, I don't care if I lose. Like, yeah. But Sarah's like, I am devoting energy to this and I must win it or else it has been wasted energy.
Yes. So right.
That's a big, yeah.
Now,
that pulls us apart.
This brings up another thing, which is, can you guys say, like, do you have any trouble, like, with someone else says, hey, you want to do this? You being like, yeah, you guys do it. I'm all set. Or do you feel compelled to be like, oh, is there a family moment happening? I'm in. Yes, whatever. I was in the middle of sewing up a wound of mine, but I'll sew it up later. We're playing a board game. Let's do it. Yes. Which one are you?
It's just chaos. It's literally never. We don't have those moments ever. It's just chaos all the time. There is no family moment. Like, yeah, it's like, yeah, maybe we'll watch a show together or something. But, like, yeah, there's no. I mean, because we've got a 5-year-old and, like, or 6-year-old, and Eli, God bless him, but, you know, he's just like he doesn't want to. He's in a different place than the rest of us, you know? He's not playing any German strategy game.
Yeah, he's in Agent of Chaos.
Yeah. So it's like someone has to be like, you know, someone has to hang out with him or there's just it doesn't happen. What about yourselves?
Emily is very good at being like, not for me right now, you guys. Sorry, I'm going to do my thing. And Oscar is like, yeah, I'm going to do my thing. And I am not at all good at, I'm going to do my thing. I'm like, oh, yeah, what? Right. Am I expected? I'll be there. Yes, whatever. Don't worry about it. And then I make them pay later for that.
Good. As we go one, we go all.
Yeah, we go all.
As QAnon would say.
Oh, my God. I have one, yes. Which is this, you just don't understand. What is it? What is it again? What is the name of it?
You don't get it.
Oh, you don't get it. You don't get it. You don't get it. What my family just doesn't understand about me is that I am the funny one around here. They don't know this.
Okay.
they seem
and
to...
they should.
Yeah, they seem to think that they are funny. My wife my wife has been going through like a phase where she says some seriously funny shit all the time. Like, because everyone's a fucking comedian around here. And then my son is like says like the darndest stuff, and some of it is like legit hilarious. And then I feel a little bit outshined because I'm the one who brought humor to this family. I'm the one who says the quips. I'm the one who gives the observations and knows all about comedy. And these assholes, these Johnnies come lately, are stepping on my shit. So I want it known in my family that I am the funny one.
Yeah, so you're like the MC at the Comedy Cellar who has watched Chappelle go through. He's watched Louis go through. Mm-hmm. He's just I call him Louis because, you know, we're tight.
I hear you.
He's watched all these guys come and go, and this guy's still just the MC. handing out flyers on the street corner, waiting for his big break. And that's you.
Yeah.
With Oscar and Emily.
Yeah, and that guy was like, you know what I'm going to do? My thing, I'm going to wear a top hat, even though it's 2020. That's like that's my thing. And so, and you see, you meet that guy and you're like, yeah, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah,
and so,
exactly.
And I am that guy. I'm like, I wear a top hat. That's funny.
Right. I still got it. Right. You guys.
Yeah.
And then every year that you keep the top hat on it makes it a one year harder to take it off.
Yes, precisely.
Oh my goodness.
Wait a second.
Wait, do we have a guest joining us?
Oh, I think he is getting ready, getting himself set up and poking around inside the Discord.
Okay.
But
that's fine.
I wonder if he can hear us right now, which would be very interesting.
I don't know. That could be fun. Doing the show for an audience, finally.
Right. Now, I have a thing to say to you before he joins us, which is this. I have a vision based on this whole Discord thing and the fact that it looks like Slack with all these channels and the fact that you invented this great new segment and the fact that we have segments and the fact that we are listened to by dads. What if, Jeffrey, these segments and our reportage thereof in the show and the podcast itself were, in fact, merely a bubbling up of a larger conversation among all our dads. I mean, we announced our segments, and if this Discord thing took off, or there was some sort of there was a Dad Gene subreddit, some way in which we were all communicating with each other, or God forbid, Facebook, which is a right-wing cesspool, or other places.
Yeah, fuck that.
But this way, we can organize it by channel and by these sort of like people might have a Spike Club, people might have a this or a that, and it could become this robust conversation that could be actually quite something.
Yes, I think that's the joy of Discord. That is the eventual hopes. The only problem, of course, is that it's another thing for us to maintain, which we are so shitty at maintaining things.
Right.
But
it doesn't maintain itself somehow.
I mean, if the people get going, sure. But then what if we get like some kind of fucking Richard Spencer type on here, turning all of our people into alt-right Pepe lovers,
once the alt-right finds you, it's over. There's once the guys in the really loud cars and spoilers find your nightclub, close the nightclub.
Yeah, exactly. We could become a bunch of boogaloo boys at some point. That's what happened with incels. It was like it started. Did you ever hear this story? I think it was This American Life, where like a woman started incels about people who just like had a hard time, like they couldn't get laid and they were kind of sad about it, and she wanted to like start this like support group for them, and then the incels started taking it over and being proud about it, and then they started murdering people, and she just lost complete control of her gentle thing that she was trying to create.
Jesus, that is really
sad situation,
disturbing. Yeah, because ultimately we are both things. We are both the as we said before, the apes that consider the lilies of the valley, and also the apes that punch each other with shit-covered fists.
That's right. And the Lincoln Memorial with an ape face from the Tim Burton reboot of Planet of the Apes.
All right, which was these reboots. Yeah, the last 10 years of movies. There are just no movies. There's no anything. We're not telling each other anything anymore.
We've probably said it before, and we'll say it again. But remake the shitty movies. Remake the ones that didn't work.
The what? Who did what? Say it again.
Reboot the shitty movies. Reboot the ones that didn't work.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. We could spend our waiting 5 minutes before speaking with Brian about
I Challenge
These.
Yes. Let's recap where we're at on I Challenge These.
Okay, let's.
Okay.
You challenged me to listen to Oranges and Lemoons by XTC.
That is correct. And you challenged me to read The Mezzanine.
Yes.
By
Nicholson Baker.
Colm Purcellson.
Colm Purcellson.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And Nicholson Baker. It was a joint. Joint chiefs of staff.
Featuring Nicholson Baker.
Brendan, have you completed my challenge?
I have completed your challenge.
You have listened to it from start to finish.
I've listened to it from start to finish.
With the sound of the ocean whooshing through your ears, as it always is.
It did have an accompanying track of cicadas and sirens and things like that.
Cicadas and sirens, which is the next XCT.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is fantastic as well.
Right, it would be amazing. If they could fill out the whole sound from my left ear into my right ear, then I would have the complete picture.
Yeah. You're just gonna start buying tape hiss, like collections of tape hiss that you can listen to.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Brendan, please tell me how did my challenge suit you? How did you feel about XTC's Oranges and Lemons?
I learned a lot about your brain, Jeffrey, in certain level. On a certain level, I admire. There's a lot to admire about your love of this album.
Okay,
because for a number of reasons, I will be honest. I have dreaded this conversation a little bit because as I listened, I was like, I can't. Nope, I'm trying. I listened the entire time, the entire album, and I was like, here's another one. Nope, can't do this one either. I can't.
Interesting.
I can't.
What is it?
It is. I think it is a lack of life on the low end for me.
Okay.
Where there's no. It's all. To me, it feels like there's a lot of ideas flying around in the treble zone. And a lot of
I'd agree with
jangly guitars, and a lot of like sort of like spooky. It's like there are a bunch of birds that are loose in a room, and you're inside your house, and they're all flying around, and they're all doing different stuff. And sometimes they sort of like sync up, like turn signals at a stoplight, and then they go away again, and then they come back a little bit like that. So there's all of this. There was a ton of. There was a lot of intellectual daring do on that album. But for me, it never got into, I think, what I go to the music well for, which has something more to do with an emphasis on the rhythm section than I thought. What this album taught me was I like pop more than I realized I ever did. I was always a pop abstainer, or what pop does. I don't like pop necessarily, but what pop does. I kind of am like, I see that. I see how XCC is anything but that. And I see how I feel like it's missing when I go there.
That's fascinating because I would consider this album pure pop. It is the purest essence of pop to me. It is. So you're telling me you did not pick up on any melodies?
I heard the odd melody here and there, but not like I think the bass and drum thing of like song, like primitive song structure, the feeling of the thing, dat bounce. Like none of it had dat bounce, as Timbaland would say.
It's definitely it would definitely be of a white tradition, one would say. This is a classically informed group, probably more than like a I don't know what the opposite of classical would be, like a jazz informed group perhaps. But no, they've got some jazziness to them. I don't know. It is very English. It is very, very English. Maybe that's your Irish coming through.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, it was the song of the oppressor.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right. The hunky-dory thing was and I also, as a person, it should be known, don't listen to lyrics. I can't make them out, and I don't ever track them. I have no idea. Had you not said the Garden of Earthly Delights in the first one, I would not have noticed that lyric going by. I know they're singing in English, but it doesn't sound like the language I speak to me whenever I hear people singing in songs. Wow.
Well, I'm not offended by that at all. I'm glad that you didn't like it, actually. If you had turned around and been like, I'm a mega fan now, I would have been disappointed, because that would have told me that you were just you're just trying to please me. And that's not what this segment is about, Brendan. It's about taking the challenge and being a man about it, not being a fucking pussy and just eating your goddamn vegetables.
Yep.
And then coming back and fucking sharing your experience. So thank you for journeying into that world.
Yes.
At my request.
You're welcome. Thank you for introducing me to it.
I will say, I still would love. Okay, I'll ask you one more question. Well, okay. First of all, I'll give this to the listeners. I would love to hear your take on Oranges and Lemons if you have not heard it. But I would love to know if it changed. If it revised your opinion of what they were as a band at all. You had a very a very definitive idea of what XTC was before this.
I still
did it affect that at all?
No, I still picture them all wearing round framed glasses.
Oh, yes. Then you have the right picture.
Yeah.
Then you heard the album that I gave you. You're correct about that.
Can we punt the second half of this to either after Brian or next week? Because I want to know what you feel about Nicholson Baker.
Yes, I'd love to discuss it with you. But is Brian here? Is he ready to
We're
go?
at the appointed time.
Oh, okay. Oh, look at him. Look at Brian
Look at this
Kahn.
guy.
Look at how good he is at this.
Jumping right in.
I see an icon flipping around.
Oh,
is he going to join us?
Oh!
Hey! Hi,
Hello.
Well.
Hi, Brian Kahn.
This is a meeting, a planetary collision of legends in my life.
Yeah. You know what this is, Brendan? It's not a meeting. It's a treating.
It is a treating.
Yeah.
Brian, welcome to Dad Jeans. It is great to have you here.
My lord, gentlemen, it is so good to be with you guys. I am so fond of both your voices. It's been years in my ears, and I delight in you both.
Oh.
I love your show.
This guy.
And vice versa.
I've been listening since episode 10, maybe 11, definitely not 12. That was not your best work. But you know what's funny? I mean, the mark of a really good podcast is, let's say I'm at a bar and I'm listening to a couple people the next table over. Yep. And if I'm eavesdropping and listening and taking notes and writing down movie suggestions and books to read and songs to hear, that's a good conversation. And that's what you guys every week. So,
fantastic.
Hats off to both of you.
How do you like that?
Do you know, are you a fan of the XTC album Oranges and Lemons?
Here's the thing, Jeff. Or is it Jeffrey or is it Jeff? Or is it Dins? Who can I call you by?
You can call me Jeff. Call me Jeff. Let's do that. That's
Jeff,
what my
listen,
pals say.
Your music taste is intimidating.
Oh, geez.
I am, when I hear you talk about music, it goes over my head. I'm a musician. I'm a jazz musician. I play the saxophone.
I have heard.
And I don't know anything you're talking about. Your music taste level is a palette that I just don't have. And so no, in short answer, I've never heard XTC.
That's totally fine. You know what? Brendan just embarrassed me in front of the entire world by talking about how much he hated it. So you missed that part of the
that was
conversation.
the verdict. That could not hang. Couldn't hang.
He couldn't.
Gotcha.
He couldn't hang.
Gotcha.
I mean, the XTC on the Boogaloo boys, the XTC Boogaloo Boys fans are going to go nuts on the Discord server.
Right. Little do they know, now we're meeting on Zoom, and they can find us here now.
That's right. Exactly.
Brian, I feel a little bit starstruck because I've been watching your YouTube series, Love You, nonstop. It's the only thing on YouTube where I hit the bell so that I am told when there's a new one, and I have to see it right away. It is so glorious.
It's great. Really funny.
That's so kind of you to say. As you can see, I'm actually calling from my set of the show.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
Behind me.
I was starstruck as well. It's like seeing like you're inside the coffee shop, the Central Perk, on Friends, live from Central Perk.
By the way, Jeffrey, my music taste level is this. If you can see, this is Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, there we go. There's nothing wrong about.
That's where it begins and ends for me.
There's nothing wrong with that. It was just Earth, Wind, and Fire Day, September 29th.
Do you remember?
Or 21st. I'm sorry, September 21st.
Oh, that was all that smoke.
Yeah, no. Do you remember 21st night of September?
Oh,
there you go.
Annual Earth, Wind, and Fire Day. So there's nothing wrong there, brother.
All right. But thank you for watching the Love You. I really appreciate it. I mean, you're the only ones, actually. So thank you for your viewership.
We know exactly what that feels like.
Yeah, you have dozens more viewers than we have listeners. So you're, as far as we're concerned, this is upping our game right
Here's the thing about Love You.
I have
for me,
go ahead.
Watching Love You, the way when I start, I click the first one. Each one is a minute 50, something like that on average, and. I was like, I could do a minute 50 seconds, piece of cake. Hit the play button, and it is so tight, and it is so the way that you edit this is so 21st century. You are living in the 22nd century the way you edit it. It is not only completely free of a molecule of dead air, like it creates this chemical imbalance of time economy in your life where you suddenly, it's almost like a time machine. Watching it gives you back double the time it took for it to elapse. It is amazing.
I'm so glad my ADD is benefiting you.
No, it's I'm also a fan of Love You. Love You? That's or Love Ya? Like how do we
No, it is Love You. It's
Okay.
it's basically at the end of each episode, me and my well, for your listeners, I could give you a little log line of the show. It's basically it's a Zoom call between two besties, two BFFs who chat and kibitz about their life and their feelings and the minutia of life, but as a couple of teenage girls. But the thing is, we're just a couple of white middle-aged men,
right?
And we are just talking about the world, and we are living in a pandemic, but the rule of our show is to never talk about the pandemic. We just talk about our relationship or what's affecting us, because at the core of life, relationships are the basis of what it's all about. And that's what our show's about, us connecting.
Yes. And it's done it's a Zoom call between the two of you. I don't know if you said that at the beginning. Yeah. But
correct.
Now your co-host, have you guys been friends for as long as are you the characters that you are in Love You basically?
We have kind of heightened versions of ourselves. I've known Patrick, and Patrick is he's legitimate. He's a true actor. He's done a lot. He was in The Irishman, Martin Scorsese's The Irishman. He was in Boardwalk Empire. I mean, he's an actor.
Oh, this guy.
And
okay.
We used to work together at Fox back in the day, and he was like my creative soulmate. We just kind of locked into each other, and we just got things. And so it was like a secondhand pick me up where I live off, he takes over. So. Kind of like you guys. You guys have a kind of like a chemistry that is so palpable to listen to. He and I we've known each other probably about 15 years. I say we've known each other for 30 years, and we have a history dating back to when we first met when you were teenagers,
right.
But that's just the narrative of the story.
Oh, got it. Okay. So I'm wondering, like I watched the one with the where you have a crush on his mother the other day, which is so
yes.
So fucking good.
That is actually
yeah.
That is actually a storyline from I had a crush on my best friend's mom when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And so I just took that storyline and I kind of played it up still today.
It's so good. But I assume is his real mother? Like are
that's
all
his real mom.
And the aunt and uncle who come on, is that actually your aunt and uncle? Like
that's my aunt and uncle. I had them play characters, but that's them.
It's so good. I mean, how do you capture that gold? Are they doing what you ask them to do, or do they just riff and then you like take the best bits and sort of write around it? Like how does?
Well, that was very interesting. When I first Zoomed with them, they're in their 90s. So, when you Zoom with a 90-year-old, you're going to get a lot of technical difficulty, but I was recording on it at the time, and I had already scripted out all episodes are scripted out to the word. So when I sit down and edit, I have this really tight map where I'm going to be cutting, and I also give my cohort Patrick a lot of B-roll shots of expressions to do a composite of like thinking and listening and laughing and saying words, so I could just zip in to help with cover and edit.
Got it.
Not to get too in the weeds.
No, that's good.
But for my aunt and uncle, who I rolled on, I said, this is not scripted, but it was too good to pass up. So when I took the footage, it gave me an opportunity to handcuff myself to a radiator and see how can I take this locked in footage, but add some dialogue within it to really heighten this absurdity.
Right.
And, that then led into the moment when we all were connected on Zoom properly when we hit the script word for word.
Oh, got it. Okay. Because it's just like you're like they're all purple. Like why are they purple? Like it's just
right.
Gold. Oh, it was so funny.
I got that was a gift. There was a few gifts.
It is. We would not. First of all, we love you, and we're like. If you had nothing to plug, we would love to have you on the show. But I will say that it is legitimately a delight.
And we love you. And we have a little clip I can play about a 30-second taste of the thing.
Oh, please. Roll it up.
So I'm going to get it loaded up. Brian, do you want to let us know anything about this?
Yeah, I'll set it up.
Oh, no, I have it right here.
I'll set it up. Basically, it's kind of like encapsulates what we are as friends. How friends kind of finish each other's sentences and know what the other person's thinking. This is also a great example of Patrick. He's brilliant at improvising. I said to him, I have an idea for an episode, but I need you to come up with something to start the episode. He said, I got it. Don't worry about it. And he started telling a story, which you will hear, about his father. And so then once again, handcuffed to the radiator, I then took his little monologue and I inserted my lines where I felt there was breaks or there's something that needed to be added. And so basically this encompasses how we're just connected and how we just finish each other's sentences and our friendship.
All right.
Fantastic.
Here we go.
You got to understand, this is a very short man.
Yeah.
When my father discovered clogs,
Yeah.
a comfortable shoe
Yeah.
that gave him height.
Game changer.
He bought like 80 pairs of clogs.
Uh-huh.
Then he gets a deal from a guy.
I like this guy.
On these velvet robes.
I like him a lot.
He ends up buying about 60 of these robes.
Why not 80?
So now there's a closet in our house dedicated to just clogs.
And robes.
And my father loved to wear both items while...
Hot air ballooning.
Oh, he loved that.
You know, it's amazing how we just finish each other's...
Desserts.
Because we both have a sweet tooth.
And we could always read each other's...
Mail.
It's so great.
So good. It's so good.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, and what was? I'm sorry, there was a question inspired by that segment. Lost it.
I've got
Lost
it.
to
I've
time.
got one. You record these separately, right? And then you cut them together?
Correct. He records in his end. I give him direction and what I want from it. And I don't record my thing until I get his edit. I mean his footage. Then I cut his footage out, and then I see if there's holes that I can fill or things that I didn't even think of when I was scripting it to actually heighten the moment because he had a funny look or he was wearing a certain shirt that I could drop a comment on. So it's like it's constantly changing the story as I'm editing the thing, and it works. I mean, he's very technical on his side. He's actually a writer, director, and obviously an actor on his effort. So he's always coming up with great visual gags. And by the way, all we have is this frame.
Right.
This is the set. So what we try to do within it is to heighten some absurdity. You mentioned how I was in love with Patrick's mom in the storyline, and when I was talking to her, I didn't know she was going to be on the call. So the next second, you see me in a suit and tie, and I'm playing "Endless Love" on the saxophone, and it's just absurd. How did that happen immediately? But that's what we do on the episode. Yeah. We constantly change up the world in our little Zoom frame.
That's the magical fast cutaways to yeah, it opens new dimensions, and each one is this meta thing, but each episode opens another new dimension, and that's the craziest part about it.
That was going to be my comment, is when you bring out the sax, like for punctuation, like it just kills me every time. Like there's just like a cut to you playing the sax. I think the first one I saw was the one with, was it your sister? And you like keep leaving, and every time you come back, you're in like a new outfit, or like you come in like with no shirt on at one point, I think. And it's just so fucking good. Just like and the other like your sister and Patrick are like, what is he doing now? Like it tickles me.
He knows that I change all the time, or he changes all the time. So it's like it's nothing new. But to have an outsider, in fact, that's what the episode's called. Outsider, she is like, what is happening? I don't understand what is going on here. By the way, I know this is Dad Jeans, and we're supposed to be talking about our sons, but I thank you for this. But my son, Sammy, played a younger version of myself in an episode of Love You.
Oh, I haven't seen
when
that
we were
one.
talking about how we first met, and that was just a joy to do.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, I have to see that one. I have not watched them all. I'm guilty, even though they're quite short. You can snack on them.
They're such snacks.
Yeah.
Yes.
The episode is called, speaking of music, the episode's called Boz, B-O-Z, because we first met and bonded over Boz Skaggs.
Oh, my God.
So that's the one my son is in.
Amazing. Is he a young Boz Skaggs fan?
I can only hope one day.
Well, we love you, Brian. We are so happy to have you.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll do your catchphrase. We'll wait for the end of the episode, I think, to do the catchphrase properly.
Perfect. I will tell you where you can find it. Also, if your listeners ever want to tune in, it's a very simple place.
Which is where?
Just that.
Do that now, because
we're
going to lose about half of our audience probably at the hour mark. So go.
Okay.
Go for it.
Great. If you any search engine, either YouTube or Google, type in "Love You," 2 words, and my name, Brian, last name Kahn, K-A-H-N. Like Madeline, not related. Love You, Brian Kahn. You'll get it.
Great. And it should be said, now that we've you spelled out your name, should anyone ever start Googling you, and it's worth Googling Brian Kahn. The first time I had lunch with you, I think I Googled you beforehand just to be like, who is this guy? And found footage of Cloris Leachman saying that you had been circumcised twice.
That happened.
What?
That happened.
We have to hear that story.
I work at Fox, and back in the day, Cloris was doing a show called Raising Hope, and we were doing an event for the affiliates. And we had this idea of how about we get Cloris Leachman to introduce us, people who are coming on stage to talk about what we do at Fox. And so I wrote her introduction, and I had her say Brian Kahn circumcised twice. So that was a joy.
Amazing.
She's the great Cloris, the great. What a legend! That's so awesome.
The great.
She is. She was incredible.
Okay, sorry. I have to ask one more love you question first before we go into our segments. But how did you? What's the? Tell us about opening with the breaking news.
Right.
Thing. What is
so
that?
That's just basically. The genesis of the idea to do this was, when the pandemic hit back in February, March, I wanted to have some creative outlet. And aside from the saxophone, I was wanted to do something else. And to keep sane in an insane world, I came up with this idea with Patrick, and it was just a seed. It was nothing like it is now. But I thought it'd be funny just to take our conversations, but really heighten that it's in the world of the pandemic.
Right.
But then ultimately, it's just a couple of people talking. So it's a great a comic punchline at the end and the beginning of each episode, because you think, oh my God, just breaking news, the coronavirus, what's happening now? It's talking about Q-tips or whatever you have.
Yes, the daily minutia of life that we're all surrounded with at all moments now. Like you can't escape the Q-tips now. It used to be you could walk away from the Q-tips, but it's all Q-tips all the time.
Exactly. I love it.
Okay, well, let's move into our first segment with Brian Kahn. This is True Daddy Confession.
1, 2, 3. Oh no! What's Daddy been thinking? Oh no! What's Daddy been drinking? True Daddy Confession.
All right.
Okay, so what we did was I would love to have you for 2 segments, Brian, if you're available for us. Because we sent Brian a list and we were like, which would you like to do? And he was very generous, and he had like 1,000 things that he could talk about, because everyone wants to tell us about their woes in this dark period of civilization. But yes, but I chose the 2 best because we would love to have him. I mean, I don't know if they're the 2 best. Talk about whatever the fuck you want to. What am I doing? Like, I don't know why I'm trying to pretend this is a real thing.
So actually, the True Daddy Confessions is a great topic. I'd love to jump in with you guys on that.
Then please tell us what is your True Daddy confession?
Okay. Well, I mean, it is all pandemic related. As a parent, you want to lead by example to your kids. You want to exhibit qualities and attributes that are, that are honorable and commendable, and you're something to be proud of, that your kid can say, "Yes, my dad, and he's a good man." Mm-hmm. Well, I did something. My son called me out on behavior that was less than that. It was I was embarrassed and ashamed that I actually had this reaction. And the incident was me and my son, Sammy. He's 15. We were at a Carl's Jr. takeout window, and we were about to place our order. And by the way, let me give you a parenthetical. In general, I'm a positive guy. I had years of therapy to knowing that negativity is my poison. So I like to keep a little positive attitude.
Okay.
With the state of the world, with the state of the world and the pandemic and the politics, I have a low-grade vibrating meanness that actually is starting to percolate. I think we all are.
Yes.
And
it's in there.
And my son called me. Yeah, we're all there right now. And my son Sammy called me out on it in the drive-thru window when I was a little short with the lady coming through on the little drive-thru speaker. I don't remember what I said, but he was taking note at my yes, I want that, or yes, no, fries.
Right. This poor woman
Can I do it with
working at Carl's Jr. during a pandemic. This poor woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm being an asshole, and I'm being a guy who actually is being difficult. And when he called me on that, well, here's the thing: when I got up to the drive-thru window, I just wanted a hamburger and fries. I didn't want a soda because I had a soda at home.
Sure.
So the prices I'm making this up is like, let's say it's $10.
Yeah.
But if I got the Coke, it would be with everything $9.50. So I had the conversation with her. That wait a second.
Yeah.
I'm getting less food and I'm paying more money. How does this make sense? And I'm having this kind of Seinfeld back and forth with her, and my son's taking note, and it's like over 50 cents or 30 cents. It was ridiculous, which leads to a spy club. Carl's Jr., work on this math, please. But aside from that.
Wow. Wait, so the value menu is actually a value at Carl's Jr.
But you have to you have to allow them to move product. That's the thing. They need, it's an inventory issue.
Yeah.
I actually said this to her. I said, so if you give me a soda right now and you knock down my price, but I say keep the soda, I don't want the soda. Like Nicholson and 5 Easy Pieces, can I have the bread, hold the mail, whatever. She would say, we can't do that. So we had to hold that whole exchange that if she gave me a soda, I don't want the soda. You have to take the soda.
Wow. Unbelievable. Yeah, they can't.
Wait.
They don't have that. They have that little wiggle room in their lives, in that place. That manager is such a nasty human that he's like, if I see anyone making any adjustments for a customer.
Yeah, it all has to sync up. Like at the end of the day, they're counting the cups, they're counting the ice, they're counting the if you have thrown off the inventory, then something has gone drastically wrong in the system, right?
Right.
As you just said, Brendan, I mean, these poor people, this is corporate mandates. They're just following what they're told to do.
Yeah.
But I'm taking out on this poor person.
Yeah.
My son called me out on that, and I actually had to pull aside, and I had to eat a little crow and pie, and I said, listen, you're right. You saw me at not a great moment, and I want to apologize for that. These people are working hard. They're trying to get through their day. This is probably their second or third job today. It's I will do better.
Yeah,
but,
good. I'm glad to hear it because that is a dick move, and you know it. And I'm glad that you apologized to your son for it.
This is the opposite of a Catholic confessional. Yeah, you used to give your,
good.
Yeah, you offer your confession.
You should
and we're
apologize
like,
more.
How dare you?
I apologize to the wrong person, though. I should have rolled around. Hey, listen, lady, I apologize.
Yeah, but then it's like then you become the guy on the answering machine that she's just like, I'm trying to do my fucking job. Go, I get it. I'm done. Now I got to give you contrition as well. I've already swallowed your soda. Did you end up in fact getting the soda?
I did not, and I just sucked up that 30 cents and I just chalked it up to experience.
Wow. Well, it's certainly given you 30 cents worth of material for dad jeans. So.
There you go. But it was a really good moment with my son, and I want to also show him, talk about modeling behavior.
Of course,
it's like I want to show him that I was wrong, and I could cop to it and be vulnerable to him. So. That was a positive.
That is the thing about having kids around the house, because they will reflect back to you the actual truth versus I think with a spouse you're in a dance of like years long. I'll be this way because just let me be this way. Let me have some latitude personality wise. All right. Yeah. And you too. And we'll just do this thing where we kind of mutually ignore, belovingly ignore some parts of our personality. But kids are like, no, I see you. I see this. And here it is. And then you're like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Truth
serum.
Can we set the stage a little bit? I want to know, like, what is your dad? What's your level of dad? If we were to have some sort of a scale with, I don't know who would be like low and who would be high, but what you've got now, you have how many kids, and you are you a stepfather as well? I feel like what is your home situation that our listeners could identify with? Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm a Brady Bunch family. I came with 2 sons. My wife Lana came with 2 daughters. We're literally Brady Bunch minus 1 on each side. I have 2 boys and 2 girls, and we have blended this family, and it's any kind of blended family takes a lot of extra work. And Lana and I just celebrated our 10 years yesterday. We just had yesterday we had our anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Yes. Thank you, guys. So we are great teammates, and we have she and I are just are in sync and lockstep, and I'm so glad I'm going through the world with her, especially during this pandemic, because it's just she's the best support system ever. But she's kind of led me into ways of parenting that I didn't really have until I got married to Lana, and she's opened up new avenues of how to approach parenting, and I've just been so grateful for that. So to answer your question, like what kind of dad I am, I like to think I'm a hands-on a dad who's open to all of their needs and so forth. I'm not just get out of my way, go do your thing. I need to focus on me. I'm trying to be inclusive. I have teenagers now. I have my two biological sons. One's 20. He goes to GW University, and the other one is a sophomore, 15-year-old at a high school in Burbank. And it's when you get to I know you guys have young kids, but when you get to teenagers and older, it's a whole different ball of wax with regards to how to apply, parenting skills and how to release the rope a little bit further so they can actually, fall and fail, but also let them survive and achieve. So it's a balance. I hope I'm answering your question. I don't know if I am.
Oh yeah,
or not.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I would say I hope you don't mind me saying, having been to your house of an Easter or two, the way that you guys create community in that house is absolutely magical. Where you, I remember, had this fantastic auction with points and things like that to get certain things with your kids, and all the kids lined up and they were having a great time, and the whole thing was incredibly special. And you've built with a blended family. It's kind of the dream idea of a blended family, which doesn't usually happen. I feel like it is not the narrative of like the stepfather and the this and that. You've created something very joyous over there.
Thank you. Well, that's all. Lana is a huge a leader in all that front. She's with regards to moving forward on how I step parent is I lead from behind. I kind of put that gentle supporting hand on her back, and I let her and the girl's father do the parenting. I'm not going to jump in and put in my 2 cents. I will if asked, or I may give Lana my suggestions on but quite frankly, she does the parenting of the girls, although she does the and I do. But I'm there as a strong presence of a patriarchy for the girls to show, that I'm here for them, and I certainly am, and as she is for my sons. And she also, Lana, respectfully lets me and my boy's mom, lead the cause for what's best for them.
This is such an example.
That's interesting.
It's a dream. This is exactly how to do it. You hear so often where dads, new stepdads, have to fall into the trap of having to assert their authority or just getting into pissing matches with the exes. It sounds like you've figured out how to create the perfect kind of biodome where no one is threatened.
I think it's all a personal experience. I mean, there's people's personalities may want to take the reins and be more hardcore. I mean, I'm not that kind of a person. I don't think any of in our pod of 4, Lana, myself, and our exes, we're trying to be good co-parents with each other. And we've been married for 10 years and together a couple before that. It's been a lot of time to actually practice and get good at it. And it's still, there's still some challenges and such, and you get divorced for a reason. And so you're dealing with, other people's perspectives and so forth. But we're trying to be fair and balanced at all times.
Yeah. No, that seems like you have to have a willing ex in that scenario. Like it sounds like you're both lucky in that you have, it's not like you don't have the deadbeat spouse who just wants nothing to do with it, and then
or the
it's a complete imbalance, or the saboteur, right? I mean, I don't know the situation, but it sounds healthy. What is what I'm saying? I guess
compared to other horror stories, yes, it is healthy. I mean, you do hear some tales out there that are just like, oh, thank God it's not us.
Yeah. Oh God, yes, I know many of these stories. Yeah, it's not. In fact, I would say I know far more of those stories than the story that you're describing, which is the healthy story.
Right. Yes.
You
yes,
know?
for sure.
You're right. People do get divorced for a reason. You know.
Right. Right.
Well, I mean, that sounds like I can't imagine. You're saying your son. So your sons were 10 and 5 when the two of you got married. I can't imagine having like little kids during this phase. Like
that's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. I mean, because you're negotiating 2 homes, and we're trying to put a spin. There's more people to love. There's more homes to go to. Trying to accommodate, 2 different bedrooms and try to make that as a plus has its challenges. Kids don't want to leave and go someplace else. It's just. Sure. They just like to lock down. And so this is not all rose colored. I don't want to paint a picture that it's all been, roses and then loveliness, because we've had moments where my kid, Sammy, when he was very young, literally hid behind a sofa when I arrived to take him for the day night. And it's like to coax him out with anything with logic. How do you tell a 5-6-year-old logic? So you got to come with me because it's my turn. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'm going to sit back here and cry more.
Right.
Oh, man. Right. God, that's so hard.
I think that leads well into my True Daddy confession,
Let's hear it.
which is that fear works, and I wish it didn't. But when I am at the end of my fucking rope and I just lose my shit, it always works. Like the kids just listen to me and they do what I tell them to because they're terrified of me. And I hate that that's a reality in life, but it's like, sometimes I'm just like, I can't do it anymore. And then afterwards I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? I'm terrible. I'm a horrible person. Like, how did I just scream at my child to like get in the fucking car or whatever I did, but it's also just magical, like how good they are,
how efficient it makes things.
Yes.
Yeah, they're looking for that moment of where dad's not going to give in anymore.
Yeah.
Looking for that boundary line, and when they see it in your face and your eyes that this is it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, game's over.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there's an argument for that being like, they're like, okay, that's the boundary. Now I know where that boundary is, so I don't have to keep looking for it, and now I can get back to my childhood.
I'm in your experience, does Oscar stop looking for it after you lay a boundary down? Now I'm doing something wrong.
I know that is a great question, because instantly I have the Catholic guilt rolls in where I'm like, "Da, da, da. Listen, I know you wanted to do this thing, but blah blah blah." Instantly I undercut my own moment of testosterone filled dadhood.
Yeah,
and that is an issue for all of us.
And I found my Eli like just absolutely models that 100%. Like he'll flip out about something. He'll be like, "Why do you always make me do this? Why do you want to make me do this?" I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. Like he just comes over and like, yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I know. I'm like, that doesn't seem healthy.
Right.
Like,
right. The shame around emotion. He knows I have it. Because I'm like glad, sad, and mad, and I feel everything at a 2. Those are my choices. You know what I mean? Yeah. But he can have all the emotion he wants, and I keep trying to intellectually be like, there's nothing wrong with emotion. You can have all the emotion. You can feel whatever you want, but if you wouldn't mind, stop screaming right in my ear right now, like right next to me. Having a hard time with my ears. This actually segues into my own True Daddy confession, which is that I think there are parents out there, most of them perhaps, who can kind of envision what their children might be thinking, or sort of be like, oh, okay, so he's 7, so therefore he thinks this way. So I will say this because that will make sense to a 7-year-old brain. And I never do that, and I have never done that. And I worry that, you meet kids who are like, my parents talked to me like I was a grown-up my entire life. And then you're like, oh, well, where are they now? And you're like, I have no idea. We haven't talked in 7 years. You know what I mean? And so like, dear God, what's happening? Am I having my adult relationship with him now so that that'll all be over when he's an actual adult, and now I'm screwing myself? I have no idea.
Right.
Wait, so is this a new one? I see on the list here, Seed My Time.
Oh, I was going to cede my time to Brian, but now I can't help myself. I have to jump in.
Oh, I got it. Okay, I see. You're reclaiming your time.
Reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time.
Please.
Yes.
But you bring up an interesting point, Brendan, how kids can see the cracks in our dam, and if there's a little crack, they could go through that, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then there's no boundaries. And it's like then the game's over until you can maybe put some more cement on it and reinforce that dam.
Yes.
So it's constantly trying to really draw that boundary.
The fact that logic doesn't win has been a perennial mindfuck.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like, how do you win it? How do you win an
100%.
argument? If I have a rock solid argument right now, and I'm not winning this thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Completely. I am the king of trying to rationalize and trying to bolster. Well, Your Honor, I have A, B, and Z exhibit
Right.
and evidence 1, 2, 3 over here, and you're still losing the fight.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's more difficult with kids than with your spouses? Or is it a similar phenomenon that happens?
For me, it's definitely with the kids.
I cede my time again.
I mean, I just like there's the sort of existential question of I am interfacing with another creature that has its own everything inside, like its own conception of the world, which does not jibe with my conception of the world, and it may be off by just a hair, like just a hair. That you had this experience with your teacher in 3rd grade that pointed you in this direction, and I have this experience that pointed me in that direction, and we're just like this little chasm between us, and that's why I think with kids it's so infuriating and frustrating, because you're like, I am your experience. You should have everything that I have because I'm you.
Right.
This is maybe a sidestep, but I'm in the process of reading this book of short stories called Exhalations by this guy Ted Chiang, perhaps. He wrote Arrival, that movie. Did you?
Oh, I love that movie.
Yes. So he has these. It's very like sort of emotional sci-fi. It's like how does technology and like progress affect us as humans? So he wrote this story about it's like it takes place in 2 different worlds, and the current world we have developed software so that you can record your entire life, and so you can go back and watch any memory and get to what Emily is talking about, the sort of empirical truth, I guess, of a situation. And he's talking about how that's like he's scared of the main character is talking about how he's scared of this technology because like we all have like the picture of our, anyone who grew up in a certain age has the picture of the birthday party at 6 and no other pictures in that entire year, and that's our memory is that picture. Like just how like the way that we sort of create these stories about ourselves, it changes when the technology changes. And then he sort of intersperses that concept with another story about a boy in this village where a missionary comes and no one in the village has writing. And so the missionary is teaching him writing. And then he gets into the boy is learning about writing. And the missionary is like, well, you got to put a space between the words. And the kid's like, what are words? And he's like, well, they're different concepts. And he's like, well, how can you have that's not words. Like I'm telling a story and there's a meaning behind the story. And he's like, and the missionary is like, yeah, but that meaning is derived from the words. And it's just like this idea of like, how does writing like change the way that we view the world? And so I've been thinking about this a lot with my kids. My son Eli, who was in Spanish immersion, so he's having a really hard time with English. And like we're still like now he's taking an English class, and we're sort of like changing the way that he's framing the world by these words, and he's having all of these problems with it, like conceptualizing it as such, because he's moving from an oral tradition to a written tradition. And it's like, what are we losing in that process?
Yes.
As like, I don't know. It's a fascinating concept to me. I don't have any answers, but
I have this to add. It's a it will sound like a tangent, but it might unlock. It might be the key itself. Oscar sometimes, you do the math with the pencil, and he writes, let's say he writes 24, but he's supposed to write 25. And I'll be like, oh, that says 24, but it should say 25. And he doesn't just erase the 4, he erases both numbers and writes them again. And every time, like, no, leave the 2. I don't know why. And like, I don't know what it is about my grown-up, economy-minded brain, but every time he does that, I'm like, no, that is against God to do that way. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So there's something about
that.
I don't know what it is.
It's a concept. It's a conceptualization.
Yeah, versus our component versus being made of its component parts.
Wow, that's fascinating.
So there must be a moment after 7 where they're like, "Oh, I only have to erase this half of this is right." So maybe he's in a world where there's no such thing as something being half right.
Yeah. But it's also like I'm very much into this idea sort of where we are in like the world right now, that what we consider progress isn't, maybe there is no progress. It's like you're switching between different things, but like, are we better off than people 2,000 years ago right now? I don't know. We have different concerns, perhaps.
They had mortgages and restaurants in ancient Greece.
Right. Yeah. We can get places faster, I guess. But
are you guys concerned about? Are you concerned about your kids' FaceTime with technology? Because all of our kids are constantly faces in screens. So I mean, the whole time of like going out to the creek or going to the park or getting out and seeing a friend and walking, that doesn't happen. And I know I don't want to be that guy who says, back in my day.
Yeah.
But
right.
This is the
right.
world.
It's length of thought. That is that is at stake here.
Well, and you're interfacing with you're interfacing with an avatar. You're not interfacing with a human, right? So it's like my concern is, what is this doing to empathy? Like the real ability to, when any Facebook conversation you see, it's like empathy's out the window. Like there is no empathy on Facebook.
Yeah, no.
It's just like, fuck you, I hate you. Like I'm instantly.
Yeah. I have posted something after Trump got sick that I took down again because I guess it was a little bit too far. Because as soon as he got sick, got right on Facebook and I was like, burn in hell, Vector King.
Yes.
And then
I read that and I liked it.
Thank you. And then some. It's like that's a bridge too far. I guess then I took it back, took it down again. You know what I mean? But yeah, Facebook and other places are. It's a way to. The screen makes you feel very safe and not accountable to the world or others. To have your unfiltered thoughts, and needs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what I do, I have a little rule in my car, which could possibly lead to fatherly advisory when I go into that section.
Perfect.
But when the kids are in the car, I realize I am the captain. I'm driving. It's my vehicle. All phones off. So if I ever see the kids, hopping on the phone to do something, I tell them to put it down. If they say they're sending a text to somebody, I said, that's fine, but turn it off as soon as you finish. At least I'm trying to grasp any kind of time that they could just look out the world and see what's happening.
I love that.
Yes, and learn the map of the city so they don't. So God forbid they have to get somewhere that's more than a mile away. They'll know how to get there.
Exactly.
That is
so true.
That's so smart. That's exactly how to do it.
Should we go into fatherly advice on that note?
Fatherly advice.
Help me, Daddy. Fatherly advice. Help me, Daddy. Fatherly advice.
Was that, in fact, your fatherly advice, Brian Kahn? Or do you have more fatherly advice?
It wasn't. I actually have two things for you, gentlemen.
Please.
Okay. Well, first off, in an episode you guys were talking about your secret shame, how your kids don't ride a bicycle, or they haven't really mastered that skill.
Yes.
And your kids are with Eli and Hazel. They're
yes, correct. They
how old?
9 and 6.
Well, take comfort in knowing that my kids didn't learn until they were in high school.
Oh.
And there's nothing wrong with them.
Thank God. Oh,
they're healthy. They're fine. The days of you and I, Jeffrey and Brendan, back in the day when there was less cars on the road,
yes,
when there was less collision potential, is no longer with us. So they're seeing the congestion, and they may have a reaction of like, I don't want to put myself in that harm way. So perhaps that's it. Another thing is my son, who's 20 now, just got his driver's license. when I was 16, I got mine that day.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys did the same.
Absolutely.
There's no longer in the cards for the kids. My stepdaughter, Emerson, also was, she got hers a little bit later as well. Esme, she's 16 now, has no interest. And Sam, who's 15, he can get his permit in November in the month, and he said, no way.
Wow.
So
interesting.
I guess my father's advice to you guys is don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses on getting the kids on a bike or saying they're not hitting this marker of development. That's wrong. It's fine. You guys are amazing dads,
awesome.
and it's don't worry about it. They'll get on that bike and they'll ride.
Oh,
eventually.
Brian.
That's the kind of fatherly advice that I like, which tells me that I'm doing nothing wrong. And
Brian, you're like our fairy godbrother.
what a joy. What a joy. Yeah. That's great to hear. No, it is something I'm concerned about, but you're right. I mean, it's not like, you know, I lived on a shitty street when I was growing up, but we had a long driveway. I could just go up and down the driveway all day, you know, or you could ride through people's yards and but we just don't have that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, their only option is going out on this tiny, 2-foot wide sidewalk that is surrounded by cacti. Or, you know, or just going out in the street and taking their chances.
I used to get on my bike with my friends, bike through the woods, and then get on side streets, go 2.5, 3 miles to the dump where we would find old license plates and then bike home. And it was like storybook Rockwellian. It was amazing. But now, that's all gone. And that town has been completely developed. And I'm sure there are cars bombing down every street, around every corner. Sad.
And, you know, if you think about that, and think about the independence that they're taking by going off and you know, blazing their own trail on the bike, it's like it opens up their mind, it opens up their confidence.
Yes.
And by denying them that, you know, you may think I'm a bad parent.
Yes.
And this is not good. They should be doing that. But don't worry about it. You can find other areas where they can actually, you know, exhibit their independence and carefreeness.
Yes, that's a great note. And I will say, as I was saying to Brendan last week or the last episode, that I have discovered recently that Hazel's writing skills are just blossoming, where she's just able to write, and that she has this imagination that's coming through, and when you get to that age, this is the first time where I've been able to see you know, she wasn't like Mozart pumping out the hits at age 5 or anything like that. It's it took my kids time to warm up, but now she has this skill and this ability, and that's just amazing to see. When you're looking at someone who's actually discovering something that they're really good at and then embracing it and diving into it, you know, that's super exciting. I love
that for that. And right now for Oscar, I mean, Hazel, that's genius that she's finding that hook and she's actually finding that avenue and experimenting and letting her sit in it and just have her mind wander in that open field. That is the best thing you can do for her.
Awesome.
Legos for Oscar. You know, it's what's going on in his brain during that time is so pure and so important just to sit back and let that thing just percolate and grow. And, that's just gold.
Yeah.
You're like our dad guru.
I know.
I feel like we need to have. I love it.
Jeffrey.
And the second thing I want to share with you guys,
yes.
I know this is running long and you guys probably want to wrap this up, but my second thing to you guys, as an eavesdropper on Jeffrey and Brendan's conversation, I see a theme that's going through your conversations. It's quality alone time. You guys are lacking it, and it's understandable because you have kids who are always grabbing on you, and especially since you're in a pandemic, you're within the confines of your home, and it's even closer attention. So there's two things you can do. One, you can get a divorce and have half the time free, which is, hey, I did that. Didn't that work?
Many do. Yeah.
Or you can do. I know it's a very common concept, but we've talked about boundaries earlier. And when you're having Eli pull on you every 2 minutes, and you can't get something done, you can't get into that flow of creativity or work around the house. Try doing this, and I actually did this when I was a dad, or when the kids were much younger. Now they're in their teens and 20s; they're just off on their own. So it does get easier, guys. Just take heed in that. But if you get an egg timer or use a stopwatch and have them look at something physical and say, "Here's 20 minutes. When it gets to all zeros, come get me." And if he comes before that, you have some evidence right then and there to say you're not there yet. So go back and see if that physical eye relationship to something that's right as evidence. If that works.
That's incredible.
Great technique.
Brilliant.
Great technique.
I love it.
I'm adopting it today.
Me too.
I love
Try
it. That is so good. Are these things that you've discovered on your own, or do you feel like the years of therapy have sort of helped you come up with your techniques?
I think that was just I mean, honestly, Lana is she's such a sounding board and of ideas, and she models so much great stuff that makes me then think of new ways. So everything is just I feel like a trampolining of her thoughts and so forth. But this is something that we just said, how about we try this? And it was just a concept I came up with.
Amazing.
It's genius.
I feel like so Brendan and I have had this constant sort of conversation, especially since we got back from our break, about the perfect dad, which is what I'm, my vision is Paul Rudd in the first Ant-Man. He has this, he sets up this slalom thing for his daughter in the house where it's like she just like gets on a sled and goes all throughout the house, and he's set up like wonderful, like fun things for her to interact with. But now my theory that I just came up with based on your advice, Brian Kahn, is that all of these stories are being told by divorced parents. The people who are writing these stories have the time to step away from their kids and come back into it and go full force with it. Which those of us who are just fucking 24/7, 365, we never get that little break, that little step away that can reset our brains.
I mean, I guess what you're saying also is I have about a decade on you guys. Next month I'll be 56.
Okay.
So I've had another 10 years on top of parenting, and my kids are older. So yes, I have that breadth of scope of kids and growing up.
Yes.
When you're in the weeds, I get it.
Yeah.
When you're in the shit, I get it. You're not going to be able to get that forest from the trees thing. You're looking at an aphid on a leaf, on a branch, on a tree.
Yeah.
Then you're pulling back to see that forest. So it's not there. But how I'm hearing you guys, I eavesdrop on you guys as I mentioned, and you guys have a good handle. You're doing great. You're both smart. You both are caring. You both are loving dads. So it's like I failed so many times. I've had kids not pleased with me at all and crying and not wanting to see me. So it's like it hasn't been rosy. So it's but you try to make it work.
You so do. And can I jump in now? I'm piggyback off of that with my fatherly advice, which is very similar. And Brian, I think thank you for articulating all that, because that I actually didn't have a fatherly advice, but I've been thinking about this a lot lately, which is in the COVID times, my fatherly advice is give yourself a break. We are experiencing something, you grow up and you've got your parents, the kids' grandparents, sort of like, they've got their view on how you should be parenting, and you've got other people around you's view on how you should be parenting, and everyone has this idea. What we're experiencing right now, no one else has ever experienced. Like it for 100 years,
and even then everything was different.
Yeah, exactly. Even then, everything was different.
Exactly.
Like, we're in uncharted territory right now, and like this feeling that we have to live up to some standard. I think this sort of like ties both of your advices together, actually, Brian, now that I'm thinking about it, that like has been set in a time that is unlike anything we've ever experienced. Like, just erase that conception from your head. Like, we're explorers in the world of parenting right now. We are discovering new things every day. You just can't live up to the old standards. Give yourself a break.
Absolutely. Give yourself an emotional mulligan every day to get through the freaking day.
Emotional mulligan. Oh, God, it's fabulous.
I think you may have just named our episode.
I think you did.
Emotional mulligans.
Emotional mulligans.
We're just a bunch of emotional mulligans over here.
So then I think that's a wonderful place to say, Brian, you complete us.
You do, yeah. How lovely.
Yes.
Wait, are we kicking Brian off, or do you?
No,
have
I'll say. Advice? I think we say farewell. I had some dark fatherly advice that was more of a joke, but I think I want to okay. I want to leave it off for this one and more and leave Brian's words ringing in all of our ears.
I love that. And also because I made fresh bagels this morning and I haven't had a chance to eat them.
Get a load of this character.
I know.
That's a good dad.
Hey,
look at
good
that.
dad making bagels.
I don't let the kids eat them. What are you kidding?
Like I said, you're a good dad.
Brian, let's just one more time tell our listeners where we can find your amazing work of art. Love you.
Thank you. The show's called Love You. If you just Google or in YouTube, the search engines, put Love You and my name, Brian Kahn, Kahn. You'll see my pink graphic cards all over the place. Just log in and subscribe and enjoy.
Amazing. And with that, Brian Kahn, love you.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you.
Thank you. We've been Dad Jeans.
Thanks,
Thank you guys. Good night.